Welcome to Pause in Psychology. Understand your pet's mind.
It's 2 a.m. Your cat has a dozen perfectly good sunny windows, a heated bed, and an entire couch to herself. And yet she's kneading your chest and rearranging your ribs like she's claiming territory. Most people shrug and call it warmth or habit. But that explanation misses something bigger. What your cat is doing every night is a compact story about trust, territory, and, surprisingly, a complex social relationship between two very different species. And most cat owners don't realize it. Let's start with the obvious answer. Warmth. It feels right. Cats love heat. But if heat were the whole story, your cat would stay in the sunbeam or on the laundry pile. Instead, she chooses you. Why? Because sleep is vulnerability. Every animal's instincts whisper, find a safe, hidden spot when you're unconscious. So when a creature that evolved to hide and hunt instead climbs onto a human's chest, it's not only about temperature. It's about proximity to something they find reliably safe. Researchers adapted attachment tests originally used with human infants and found something unexpected. Companion animals often show proximity-seeking and stress behaviors around familiar humans, behaviors that look an awful lot like attachment. In other words, choosing to sleep on you is one of the clearest ways a cat can say, "You're safe." Not clingy, not lazy, safe. Now, the chemistry part. Bonding isn't just about behavior, it's a neurochemical event in some species. Eye contact or touch can trigger hormones like oxytocin, the molecule tied to trust, caregiving, and social comfort. Humans and some of our animal companions can enter feedback loops where a look, a purr, a stroke pushes both nervous systems toward calm. With cats, the loop is quieter and more subtle than with dogs, but it's real. A calm, slow interaction lowers arousal and signals safety, especially at night. There's also history. Cats were first drawn to human settlements by food and protection. Over thousands of years, the boldest, friendliest felines stuck around. They adapted to an environment dominated by humans, selecting for tolerance of close contact and an ability to read our rhythms. That doesn't mean every cat is a Velcro cat. Feline social styles are diverse, but many have been shaped to coexist with people in a much closer way than most wild felines. Here's where the story takes an odd turn. Objective sleep data and subjective experience don't always agree. Clinical trackers show that pets moving, changing positions, or prowling at night can cause physiological microarousals for owners. But surveys show most owners report feeling safer and more rested with their pet nearby. Why the mismatch? Because perceived safety matters. For much of human history, we slept in groups. A breathing body beside you may cause small movements, but it also signals protection. Your nervous system is sensitive to social cues. A soft purr, a steady breath, a small warm weight can reduce perceived threat, allowing your system to drift toward deeper restoration, even if the sleep architecture is technically punctuated. In short, the felt experience of being soothed can outweigh measurable disturbance. There's another clue you should never ignore. If your cat suddenly stops sleeping with you or shifts where she sleeps, don't dismiss it as a quirk. Changes in sleep location are often among the earliest behavioral signs that something is off. New stressors, environmental changes, pain, or medical problems. Cats hide discomfort extremely well. The disappearance of a long-established routine can be their only clue. If your lap-loving cat becomes distant overnight, pay attention. A vet check is a reasonable next step. What about the things that make the bond stronger? Routine, gentle touch, and predictable caregiving. Cats value control and predictability. When you give them consistent meals, a calm arrival home, and low-threat interactions, you build a pattern of safety. Over time, that pattern becomes what they reach for at night. Less about stealing covers and more about accessing calm. So what should you do the next time you wake up to find your cat monopolizing your pillow? First, remember, it's a compliment. She's choosing a human over a dozen other options. Second, note patterns. If the behavior changes, investigate. And third, enjoy it. The quiet company of a trusted animal is one of those small, ancient comforts that modern life rarely provides. One last surprising thought. In a world that prizes perfect sleep hygiene, dark room, strict schedule, there's a deeper, evolutionary trade-off happening. Our biology evolved to value social co-sleeping. Maybe your cat isn't wrecking your sleep so much as reconnecting you with a more social way of resting. That doesn't mean a cat next to your head is medically ideal for everyone, but it does mean the story is more complicated than cats equals nuisance. If this changed the way you see your cat's nightly takeover, subscribe for more. Drop a comment. Where does your cat sleep? On your face, at your feet, or right in the middle? Next video, why your cat stares at you like it's reading your mind, and the neuroscience behind those unblinking looks is even stranger than sleep.